Hello vinyl community, it's Matt here again, and today is November 28th, 2023, and it is to the day, the 40th anniversary of the release of the very first Now That's What I Call Music album in the UK. Yep, 28th of November 1983 this came out. And the artwork would improve as things went on, but this is the very first Now album. Now, those of you who have maybe watched my videos for a while, especially some of the older videos, you may know that I'm a big fan of the Now series. I got a whole bunch of these albums on CD and vinyl. We're just going to look at some of the vinyl today, but yeah, 40 years, kind of crazy. Big part of my childhood. I had a lot of the albums growing up. My first ever Now album, I'll dig it out actually, it was Now 10, right here, Christmas 1987. I was given this by my grandparents. Not this exact copy. This I bought later when I was an adult. But yeah, this is my first ever Now album, Now 10. So pretty early on still. Anyways, the name Now That's What I Call Music. We'll just do a very quick little history for anyone who doesn't know. The name Now That's What I Call Music actually came from a poster, and there's a copy of it they put on the back of this very first Now album, and it's advertising Danish bacon, and it says Now That's What I Call Music at the top. And this was a poster that was hung up in the Virgin offices. This is a Virgin EMI collaboration. Polygram will be added a few years later, and it was hung up in the offices. One of the executives, I think, had been given the poster by Richard Branson, so that's kind of cool. That's where they came up with the name, so it's an interesting little tidbit. The very first Now album had 11 number ones because they had the entirety of 1983 to pick from, pretty much, because this came out right at the end of November 83. So it wasn't like it is now, or it would soon come to be, where you would get a Now album released, let's say every 3 or 4 months. Sometimes it was only twice a year, so maybe every 6 months, but from this point onwards, there would be at least 2 a year. Right then. Oh, the pig. I was going to mention the pig. Yeah, the pig became a little bit of a mascot. And it would kind of culminate, for better or worse, I would say in Now 5, where we've got a huge picture of the pig. You can even see the back of his head right there. This was the last Now album to feature the pig prominently like this. He would be included on 2 or 3 later editions, like special editions, like Now 100, I think. The pig was on that, just kind of a nostalgia thing. But yeah, anyways, for the 40th anniversary, there have been some pretty significant Now releases. And there were 4 albums that they released, well, 5 technically, I'll get into that. Four main albums that were released, each one covering a decade, so 83 to 93. 93 to 03, 03 to 2013, 2013 to 2023. And I do have all 4 of them right here. And I ordered, you could order them all together, which I did, which worked out to be a little cheaper. You also got a limited print with it as well, which is kind of nice, and it's numbered. And the print has something pretty cool on the back, which we'll get into in a second as well. So we will dive into these real quick. I'm not going to do an in-depth review. I just want to try to keep this video at least reasonably watchable in terms of length. But here's the first one. It's on nice white vinyl here. This is the 83 to 93 edition. You can see 40 years, volume 1 right there. 3-disc set. Here you go. I'm going to move that way just a little bit. There we go, it's better. 3-disc set. I will say that the track listing, I think they made some interesting choices, I'll put it that way. The track listing generally is pretty good on all of these. There were a few cases where I thought, maybe they could have used this track instead of that one, that type of thing. But if you look closely, you'll see, for example, the first track, the Culture Club Chameleon, and it'll say underneath Now 1, 1983, UB40 Red Red Wine is also Now 1, Bonnie Tyler as well, then Queen, Now 2, etc., etc. So underneath each song, it will tell you which Now album it was taken from and the year that it came out to. So that's kind of a nice touch. So every single song on these compilations was taken from an album of that time. So if you think to yourself, well, hang on a second, why isn't Pet Shop Boys Western Girls on here? Well, it wasn't on a Now album. In fact, it was on Now's rival, the hit series, but that's a video for another time. So that's why, they were limited to an extent to anything that was on a Now album. A lot of number ones on here, but not exclusively number ones. There's quite a few songs that weren't number one. Yeah, like I say, a few for me slightly questionable track choices. I don't know. Mostly on disc one, actually. In fact, mostly on side one of disc one. For example, the tracks taken from Now 1 were Karma Chameleon, Red Red Wine, Total Eclipse of the Heart. They were all number ones. I just think I maybe would have put Duran Duran as something I should know on there instead of UB40. I just think Red Red Wine is, I don't know, it's not my favorite. It's been so overplayed. It's on every 80s compilation. I think maybe the reason, perhaps, is that Duran Duran is on here later, under 1993 with Ordinary World. But I think Kylie Minogue's on here on this set at least twice, maybe 3 times. So they did it for her, or they could do it for Duran Duran. I don't know. I just think Duran Duran was huge in 83. So, I don't know. There's little things like that. Nina, 99 Red Balloons off of Now 2. And also Paul McCartney, Pipes of Peace, which I think is a dreadful song. I guess they just had to get McCartney on there somewhere. I don't know. But I think from Now 2, they do have Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax, no problem with that. I think I would have included, I don't know, something else. I'll have to think about it. But anyways, for the most part, there's great stuff on here. Now 3, Tina Turner and Wham. Yeah, no problem with that. Now 4 gets 4 tracks, which is sort of interesting because it's widely regarded as one of the weaker Now albums, at least from the early, the early history of the series. But they're good songs. They're Mal, Ray Parker Jr., Lionel Richie, Philip Oakey, and Giorgio Moroder. Now 5 only gets 1 song. And ironically, it's not the only number one that's on Now 5, which was Sister Sledge. It's Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, which is a Stone Cold classic. But again, they missed a chance to put Duran Duran on there. View to a Killer's on Now 5. Axel F is on Now 5. It's a little bit of an 80s classic, so I don't know. Now 6, we get Eurythmics. Only 1 song from Now 6 as well. Kind of interesting. They could have put Mid-Year on there. Pretty big number 1. Or for Fergal Sharkey as well, maybe. Now 7, we get Bananarama, Peter Gabriel. I'm not going to do this with every one of these, by the way. We're just going to do it with this first record. I'm not going to go through every single track. We'll be here forever. Now 8, we get the Communards, okay, and Run DMC. Only 1 track on from Now 9, which to me is kind of fascinating because Now 9 had 6 number ones on it, I think I'm right in saying. And the track that they put on here was not a UK number 1. They've put Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. Maybe they thought, well, we've got to put Bon Jovi on here somewhere, right? And although It's My Life was on a later Now album, so I don't know. But they put Living on a Prayer, which was not a UK number 1. They had other options. I don't know. Only 1 track from Now 10 as well. Yeah, my beloved Now 10. This was the very first Now album that I ever got, and they've only got 1 track on it, which is a little bit of a shame. It is a good track. China in Your Hand by T'Pau was a huge number 1 actually in the UK. So okay. LP2 side B, we have Pet Shop Boys, Always on My Mind, and Belinda Carlisle, Heaven Is a Place on Earth, 2 huge number 1 hits. No Kylie with I Should Be So Lucky, which a little bit surprising, but Kylie's going to feature prominently in the other album, so yeah, no problem. Now 12, we get S Express and Yaz, The Only Way Is Up as well. I'm sorry, now 12 is S Express. Now 13, Yaz and Kim Wilde. Now 14 only has 1 track. A little bit surprising. It's one of the better Now albums. Now 15 only has 1 track, Soul to Soul. That's understandable. Now 15 is a really weak Now album, and Soul to Soul is probably the biggest song on there. It was a number 1, but it's also, you sometimes get some tracks that are kind of, they almost turn into anthems, or they turn into like genre defining songs, and Soul to Soul Back to Life is definitely up there. Now 16 gets 2 songs. Tears for Fears, Sowing the Seeds of Love, completely understandable. Wasn't a number 1. In fact, Now 16 doesn't contain any number 1s, but it was a big hit. But then, to me, a little bit strangely, Debbie Harry, I Want That Man. It was a pretty big hit. It was definitely a top 10. Might have even been a top 5 just about. But it's not, I don't know. It's not as iconic as like Technotronic Pump Up the Jam, which is what I would have put on there from Now 16, but that's just me. Now 17, Beats International, Don't Be Good to Me. Okay, that was a number 1. Now 18. Now 18 is a funny album. It's a little bit underrated, I think, but it does contain a lot of like cover versions and things, but it has a bunch of number 1s on it. 6, I think, but yeah, 18 has Elton John, Sacrifice, and Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. Both big number 1s, and Sinead O'Connor in particular is, you know, a little bit of a classic, so yeah, no problem with that being on there. Only one song on Now 19, The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go? That was a number 1. I think it had been featured in like a Levi's jeans commercial or something like that, so that went to number 1. I from Now 19, I think I would have probably put like KLF or 3 AM Eternal or something, but the KLF are going to come up in just a minute. Now 20, really strange one for me. Scorpions, Wind of Change is the only song on here from Now 20. That's a pretty big hit, but it wasn't a number 1. I don't know. From Now 20, maybe The Fly by U2. That was a number 1. U2 was a huge band. I don't know. Anyway, Now 21, Shakespeare's Sister Stay. Yep, complete classic. We also get KLF with Justified and Ancient. Okay, good stuff. Now 22. Now 22 is a really solid Now album. I'm a little bit surprised there's only 1 track, which is Snap and Rhythm is a Dancer. No Erasure. I've just noticed. I don't know if Erasure's on here at all. Let me check the 93 edition to see if... I don't think so. Yeah, they could have put Erasure, Take a Chance on Me, which was a number 1. Maybe... Now, some of these, of course, there could be licensing issues. Tracks that were completely fine to license back then, no problem. Maybe now there's, you know, things aren't so easy. But anyways, Now 23, we get Tasman Archer and Sleeping Satellite, which, yeah, it's a good song, number 1. Now 24, Duran Duran, Ordinary World, great song, great song. Now 25, we get New Order, Regret, and Freddie Mercury, Living on My Own. Not completely sure about the New Order track. It's a good song. I just wonder if maybe there were 1 or 2 other songs from Now 25 they could have chosen. But anyways, so we're not going to go through the others in detail. I will show you the vinyl and one of the inserts for this one. Here we go. First of all, we'll look at the vinyl. And the vinyl matches the color for each of them. So we get this nice white vinyl for the 83 to 93 edition. As I've said before, the colored vinyl, I could kind of take it or leave it, but it's kind of nice that they've matched them up. So, you know, like the 93 to 03 edition has a red sleeve, so the vinyl is red as well. I will show you the inside. These are trifold covers. Very nice. Sometimes some of these Now albums cheap out, and they're just like slip cases for 2, and they're supposed to cram 2 or 3 records in them. I like that for the anniversary they've taken more time to give some real attention and detail to these. So nice little touch here. These are covers from every Now album that has tracks featured on this edition. Same thing with all the others. You open it up, you've got artwork. So for this 93 to 03 edition, for example, this runs from Now 26 is the first track. The last track is taken from Now 54. So you've got artwork from all of those albums from that 10-year span. Also, you'll see here, and if I open this up, we have track information for every single track. I really like this. I like the bullet points. Used to be back in the day that you would get like a little blurb about each song. It would just be a sentence or 2. And while those were great, I look back on it now, and I used to love reading them, but I look back on it now and I think, actually, you didn't get a lot of information from particularly because a lot of the time, some of the songs were still like climbing in the charts. Maybe they'd only entered the charts 2 weeks before that Now album was being pressed and the artwork was being printed, So it would be like, charted at number 32 at so-and-so, had reached number 20 by this date, and then nothing else because, well, they had to go to print after that. And it turned out the song made the top 5 or something, but it's not included. Well, the nice thing about all of this being, looking back through history, is that we do now know where each song charted, and we have got a whole bunch of information about each song. So these bullet points are nice. So for example, if I just pick a song, let's go with Wham! Wake Me Up Before You Go. It say chart peak number 1, June 1984 for 2 weeks, 12 weeks in the top 40. First Now appearance, and it says A+S, which I assume means artist plus song, volume 3. So it first appeared on Now 3, okay. So in fact, it's saying that both Wham's appearance and the song's appearance was on Now 3. And there have been some instances where a song has appeared on more than one Now album for one reason or another. So I guess that's why they put that. And it says the first of Wham's 5 UK chart toppers and 3 US number 1 hits. Musicians include David Baptiste of Beggar & Co., who played on Spandau Ballet's 1981 No. 3 chart number 1. And the duo's first 2 US singles, Young Guns and Bad Boys, were credited to Wham UK. I don't know if I knew that. There you go. So you find something out every day. And then finally, each of these came with artwork. No, they didn't. I have artwork for each of these, which came with them because I ordered the entire set at once. If I'd ordered these individually, they don't come with artwork. You have to order the entire 4-album set. And then you get artwork, which I will show you. These actually came in separately in little plastic sleeves. But so you get artwork showing the album cover, same with all of them. And you'll see each one is numbered out of 500. This particular one is 200. I think the highest I have is 3-something, and then one of them was like 80-something for the lowest. But on the back of this is something pretty special. And it will need a little explanation too, which is this. Now that's what I call 40 years. Now this is actually an album cover. And in conjunction with these 4, decade-spanning colored albums that we've been looking at, they have released I think it's a triple album. Now that's what I call 40 years. Just a one-off album. Now, I was really tempted by it because I love the artwork. I think this just looks absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Yeah, beautiful. But I just couldn't justify the price. With shipping to the US as well, it ends up being fairly pricey. This was very expensive to ship, actually, these 4 albums together. But anyways, I'm glad I didn't end up ordering this because I didn't know, and I'm sure it was on the website and I just didn't pay attention to it, but I didn't realize that on the backs of these, they were going to have the artwork for this. And, every single song that's on this album is on these ones. So that's another reason why I didn't bother. I thought, well, yeah, it's there's nothing on that album that's not going to be on all of these. So why spend the money except for the artwork? Now, I will quickly show you the others. I'm not going to go into any detail about them. Just going to put that back. Okay. So, 93 to 03. And this, of course, is on red vinyl. I'm not going to get any of this out. Track listing on the back. This one, like I mentioned, covers from Now 26 in 1993 up to Now 54 in 2003. And good stuff on here. 1 or 2 noticeable exclusions, actually. There's no Blur. Really surprised. Oasis is on here. Blur versus Oasis was huge in the 90s, especially the mid-90s. And, Country House was a UK number 1. It was on Now 32. There's only one track on here from Now 32, which is Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise, which was a big number 1 hit. So I don't have a problem with that being included. I just think it's, I think I would have, if we had to take something out to squeeze in Blur. Yeah, Saint Etienne, he's on the phone, which actually is a really, really great song. But that's got to go to make way for a big #1 from Blur, I think. But you know, that's just me. Again, it could be maybe licensing issues. I don't know. But a lot of the usual '90s suspects on here: Boyzone, Aqua, Natalie Imbruglia, Robbie Williams, Gabrielle, Britney's on here, Hanson, All Saints, George Michael, Girls Aloud, Kylie's on here again. Wet Love Is All Around. My God, that was a #1, wasn't it? Jeez. How long was that #1? It was something crazy, like, was it 14 weeks? It was like the entire summer of '94. You couldn't get away from it. It was like it went to #1 in June, and it was still #1 in September. Something crazy like that. Anyways, the next one, Nice Blue 03 to 13. That's volume 3. Now, you know, with these later ones, especially the last one, I do become less familiar with some of the songs. I don't keep up with a lot of modern chart music, here and there, but for the most part I don't. So but I did, as I was looking through the track listing, I did find myself saying, oh yeah, no, I recognize that artist or that song. Oh yeah, I know that one. So what have we got in here? This covers now 55 from 2003 up until now 85 in 2013. And actually I know a lot of these. Yeah, we've got, is it Psy, PSY, Gangnam Style? I know the song, unfortunately, but, you know. Florence and the Machine, okay. will.i.am and Britney Spears, Scream and Shout. You know, honestly, it doesn't ring a bell. Anyway. Tom Odell, Another Love, I know that's okay. Carly Rae Jepsen, I know that one. Call Me Maybe. One Direction's on here. David Guetta, oh yeah, Titanium, yeah, I know that one. Jesse J, Price Tag, okay, yeah. Pixie Lot, I've heard of. Mama Do, Uh-Oh. Sounds more like something the Teletubbies would have said. I don't know the song off the top of my head, but maybe when I listen to it. CeeLo Green, Forget You, great stuff. Lady Gaga's on here. Leona Lewis, Amy Winehouse, Kelly Clarkson, Nels Barkley. So yeah, good stuff. And again, all of these come with that artwork. They come with an insert which has this artwork, and it has the same you know, neon artwork that I just showed you. And finally, the green, 2013 to 2023, volume 4. 3 discs again, of course. And again, a lot of these, I found myself saying, oh, I know that one. Avicii, Wake Me Up. Okay, I know that. I don't know Royals by Lorde, but I don't know. I do, unfortunately, know Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, or at least I know the music video, but who doesn't? Pharrell Williams, Happy, yep. Okay, Let It Go from Frozen's on here, which, oh god, you know, I can't complain with how big the song was. Well, it was a huge hit. Ed Sheeran, yeah, okay. Uptown Funk is on here, yeah. Lucas Graham, 7 Years. Justin Bieber, hey, I can be a believer for a few minutes while listening to Love Yourself, okay. Some of these I don't know though, like, oh wait, Cake by the Ocean, DNCE. Yeah, I think I do know that one. But Christine and the Queens, Tilted. Rag and Bone Man, Human. Couldn't tell you. Dua Lipa. Am I saying that right? Someone can correct me. I know the name. I just don't know the name of the song. New Rules. I don't know. But this goes all the way up to now 115 from 2023, which I think was the Now album that came out just a few months ago in the summer. So yeah, I know Dance Monkey, that one. And I know Blinding Lights. Feel It Still, Portugal the Man, okay. Cold Heart, Elton John, and that is that Dua Lipa guy again. It is a guy, right? I guess. He's on that one too. But some of these, like Loreen, Tattoo, SCA, Kill Bill, I don't know. I'll become familiar when I listen to this, but yeah, I don't know. I will use this opportunity real quick to show some Now albums. I'm just gonna real quickly, it's gonna be a 5-minute thing hopefully, that I've been in my pile for ages that I haven't listened to. Well, some of them have been in there for ages. This little stack right here, you know, at the rate this has been going, I mean, we've had a Now album coming out every month or two. You go to the nowmusic.com website, which is the UK one, or is it it might be nowmusic.co.uk, I don't remember, but the UK Now site, and it just seems every month or two there's a new release coming up. But so this is a very new one. This came out just, I think, maybe about a few weeks ago. Now that's what I call Pop Gold. I love the artwork on this. Look at that. I just think it's spectacular. And yeah, it's just pop music. Everything goes from the 80s all the way through to more modern stuff. So, I don't know, the 80s, we got like Wham and Elton John, Billy Joel, Kim Wilde, Duran Duran, Aha, Denise Williams, Ray Parker Jr., great stuff. 90s, Spice Girls, Aqua, Christina Aguilera, Britney's on here. And then more modern stuff like Justin Timberlake, what else? George Ezra. But then it goes back and forth. Like then it flips back to 80s stuff like Donna Summer and Jason Donovan. Dollar, Tight Fit, Bananarama, Lamal's on here too. There's Nina again with 99 Red Balloon. She was on the she's on this White album down here. So yeah, I haven't listened to this yet. I've just got a stack of records to listen to. I haven't got through them yet. So there's that one. This one came out, oh gosh, this could be 6 months ago now. Now 80s alternative. Again, I haven't played it yet. And it's just, yeah, alternative stuff from the 80s. Aztec Camera. I don't even know a lot of these songs, actually. The Adventures, Broken Land is a great song. You know what? I think maybe I listened to disc 1 on this. I haven't listened to disc 2 yet. Sisters of Mercy are on here. The Cure, Sugar Cubes, Pretenders, R.E.M., Psychedelic Furs. But in a lot of cases, it's not the song you would think it is. So, like the Psychedelic Furs, we got President Gas. I don't know that. I might even have it. I've got a couple of their albums, but I don't know off the top of my head. But you would think, oh, is it one of the usual ones, like The Ghost in You or something? But no, it's not. We've got The Clash on here, Devo, Passions, Tom Robinson. So yeah, I'm gonna look forward to finishing that one up. Now we have Now Yearbook 73. I love these Now Yearbook series. So yeah, 73. I did get 88 recently as well. And 92 before that. Those are already in the cube, so I won't get those out. But yeah, this is just kind of a greatest hits of 1973. Elton John, Paul McCartney and Wings, and of course a bunch of glam rock, Slade, T-Rex, Sweet, Mud, Wizard. Yeah, good stuff. In fact, Sweet's on here twice. Huh. We've got Paul Simon, Carly Simon, Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen. Hey, Elvis is on here. There you go. Steelers Wheel, ELO, Fleetwood Mac, Ike and Tina Turner, The Spinners. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. They've also started doing this series as well. Now Millennium 0203, and this is the second one. I have the first one as well, but yeah, this is just a 2-disc set, and it's just songs. Disc 1 will have songs from 2002. Disc 2 has songs from 2003, and the first one was 2000 to 2001. So, and yeah, it's just kind of a best of from those 2 years. Robbie Williams, Oasis, Britney, Avril Lavigne, Pink, Kylie, Evanescence, Radiohead. Yeah. Let's see, just 2 more to go. Now the 80s USA. This is all supposedly American songs from the 80s. I think there might be 1 or 2 that are slightly questionable as far as their American roots are concerned, but for the most part, like Nina, 99 Love Balloons. Well, Nina was German, right? I think, but anyway. So, but yeah, it's good. A lot of rock music actually. Pat Benatar, Bruce Springsteen, John Mellencamp. Yeah, The Police, Every Breath You Take. Weren't The Police British? Anyway, Rick Springfield, REO Speedwagon, Kenny Loggins, he's got to be on here, right? R.E.M., Journey, Night Ranger, Aretha Franklin, Ray Parker Jr., and Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. Yeah, we'll let that one slide, I guess, since Michael Jackson was American. Tina Turner's on here, Whitney, Neil Diamond. So yeah, good stuff. And then finally, speaking of anniversaries, this year is the 25th anniversary of the very first Now album that was released in the US, way back in 1998. Now, I don't collect those Now albums. I do have the very first one on CD, the very first American one, which was really just to have. It was the first one. I don't collect the other ones. I don't have room, honestly. I just don't have the room to do it. But I do buy quite a lot of the American vinyl releases. So I did pick this up. Now that's what I call 25th Anniversary Volume 1, clearly suggesting there's going to be Volume 2 at some point. I found this to be a little bit of a strange release, actually. The idea is great. I like the artwork, no problem with that, fireworks and all that. Here's the back of it. The track listing is really weird for me. You would think you'd have a bunch of songs from the early years, 98, 99, 2000, etc. There's hardly anything. The earliest song that is on here is from 2004, 2003. 2003, Britney Spears, Toxic. Well, what happened to 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002? Now, my hope is that this is Volume 1, that there'll be a Volume 2 where that's going to happen. But most of this is more recent stuff from like the last, I don't know, the last decade, like Glass Animals and The Kid Leroy, I'm not familiar, and Justin Bieber. The Weeknd's on here, okay, Maroon 5, Olivia Rodrigo, who I have heard of. Here's Miley again with the Wrecking Ball, Imagine Dragons, Fall Out Boy, Coldplay, that's 2005 though, One Direction, Justin Timberlake, Mark Ronson, Uptown Funk. Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, most of it's from about the last 10 years or so, 10, 12 years. What happened to the first part? You know, like I say, maybe that's coming in Volume 2, I hope so. But it's on silver vinyl, which I guess is nice. And I do like the artwork, I like the idea. So we'll see what Volume 2 brings. But yeah, I haven't listened to that one either. I won't get to it. I have a lot of Now albums. There's some Cubes. Those are all Now albums over there, those two. But yeah, I mean, these Now albums were really the death knell for the likes of Ronco and K-Tel back in the early to mid 80s. I mean, used to be that, you know, if I pull an album out, you would get, here we go, this particular one is a Ronco album, but you would get something like this. Now this actually came in 2 parts, and you would get part 2 free with part 1. That's all. He didn't really, but that's what they claimed. And this particular one's actually pretty good. But the problem that a lot of these albums had was twofold. Number one, you'll see, oh, these are actually unedited. Didn't realize that. Well, there's a little notice here that says that all of these tracks are the original unedited single versions, which is nice. But that wasn't always the case with both Ronco and K-Tel. They would often, you know, have early fades, or they would clip out part of the intro. And the reason was they were cramming so many songs onto each side. This one's not too bad. This is 8 and 7. But I have others that are way worse. Like, let me see. This one. Child Explosion. This is a K-Tel release. It's got 10 tracks on each side. They would pack so many songs onto each side that the audio quality would really suffer. So when the Now albums came along, which had kind of 7 or 8 songs on each side, and it's a double album, much better deal. The songs were often a lot more contemporary as well. It started to be the death knell for albums like these, which in a way is a bit of a shame, because I do like some of these early to mid 80s K-Tel and Roncos. I mean, they've been around since the 60s, but the 70s and 80s, I guess, were kind of their heyday. It's just, you know, and I think the licensing too might have been an issue. I mean, Virgin were a music publisher themselves, of course, so were EMI. That's a huge collaboration right there, and so they could bring a lot of their own artists, a lot of their own rosters onto these compilation albums right from the get-go. And then anything else that needed licensing, sure, but you know, Ronco and K-Tel, they got to license everything. So I don't know how profitable these were. Maybe a little bit, but maybe not so much. That's probably why they put out so many of them. I don't know. But anyways, that's my little, or it turned into a bit of a longer history anyway, of the Now albums and these very nice anniversary editions, which I'm going to be listening to. So anyway, always appreciate everybody who comments. If you guys are getting any of these albums, or if you collect the Now albums, let me know. I'm always interested to read about and see people's collections and so on. And appreciate everybody who subscribes. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.